Happy Gemini New Moon, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my channel. I am your host today, Brooke, and we're going to be diving into the Gemini New Moon. So, how are you all doing? Are you doing well? I felt like my feminine self finally for the first time in a really long time, but I wanted to fix my hair, put a little bit of makeup on, put a little blush, a little eyeshadow, and some eyeliner. Not a whole lot, but a little. I was really trying to lean into my feminine energy just a little bit and get into the energy of receiving. Now, I've got a lot to cover for this Gemini new moon lunation cycle. We are coming up on one of the most challenging months that we're going to have this year. We're going to have a lot of hard aspects. So I come prepared. We're going back to the old days, and I pulled several charts for several days that I want to really talk about and highlight as we dive into this Gemini new moon lunation cycle. Now, a little housekeeping before we dive into the chart for the new moon. I will be doing my new moon healing circle at 7 p.m. Eastern time zone. And you can find the link to join on my website, 12thhousequeenbee.com, under the events tab. Now, if you sign up to get email updates when I upload everything and I create the event, I do send out emails every single new moon, full moon, lunation cycle. And if you're not seeing those emails, check your junk folder because they do go there quite often. All right, so let's let's pull up the chart, shall we? So how's everybody doing? Are y'all doing well? All right, so the Gemini new moon is going to be taking place later this evening at 23:02 p.m. Eastern time zone. So check your time zones. This could be if you are across the world from us, this is going to be happening tomorrow on the 27th for you guys. And I am recording this. It is 12:21. We got some mirroring, which is perfect for the Gemini new moon, right? So this is going to be taking place on the 27th for those of you that are ahead of us here in the Eastern time zone. And I have set my chart for Johnson City. Now, this new moon is going to be happening at 6 degrees. And we now have Mercury, which is in its home sign of Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini, so this is going to be a Mercury ruled lunation cycle. So you want to look and see where Mercury's at in your chart. This is going to be playing a big role. And you also want to see if you have any personal planets at that 6 degree point. Now, we have a lot in Gemini for this new moon. So Jupiter has been in there truly showing us really for the last year, throwing a lot of information our way. Okay, we have really been expanding our knowledge, expanding our vocabulary, expanding our communication. There's been a lot of emphasis on communication, but there's also been a lot of emphasis on silencing the truth. And what I love about Gemini energy is Gemini is very curious. Gemini wants to play, wants to have fun, and is very curious and eager to learn new things. So really over the next 2 weeks, this is a great time. If there's something that you have wanted to learn, if there's something new that you wanted to dive into, read a book, it really is good to kind of feed your brain, feed your mind of all those new things that you're wanting to expand on. Now, our words are also going to be extremely important because Mercury rules not only our mind, but our communication. This is a great time to really get serious about your verbal conversation that you have with yourself, especially when you are alone. You know that saying, what you think about, you bring about, and that is so true. So, keep an eye on your thoughts, keep an eye on your words, because there is a lot of emphasis on the communication that you are having with yourself. Now, I do want to note that with this new moon, there is a trine to Pluto in Aquarius. So, this is where truly within the collective, but also on a personal level, we are ending those old ways of doing things. We are ending those old ways of communicating with ourselves. You know, growing up, it was always socially common for people to joke and make fun of themselves or talk about themselves in an insulting way. And what you're actually doing is you're casting that spell upon yourself. Now, I do want to note that the English language is the best way to cast spells, and the biggest misconception within the collective is you have to have candles and herbs or sacrifice to cast spells, and that is incorrect. Okay, that is incorrect. All you need is intention and your words and speaking them out loud, and your thoughts too. Okay, your thoughts and your words become your reality. The things that you tell yourself on a daily basis becomes the reality that you live. Now, this goes back to what I was saying about growing up. Everybody would always, insult themselves, or it was cool if you didn't speak highly of yourself in front of people. And what you're actually doing is you're casting that spell upon your life, and you are going to become the spell that you cast. Now, this is also where collective spells can come into play. If a group of people come together and they're speaking badly about someone, you are casting that spell upon their lives. Now, I'm going to repeat this again. If a group of people come together and they are speaking badly about someone, this is a collective ritual, a collective spell that's being cast. You do not need herbs, you do not need candles, and you do not need sacrifice in order to cast spells. So having Pluto retrograde in a trine with the sun and the moon, it's really forcing us to end those old ways of thinking, to end those old ways of speaking, and to really step forward and be consciously aware of the spells that we're casting upon people's lives. Okay, we call it spelling for a reason, because we are spell casting that upon people. Now, if you are collectively participating in speaking bad about people, you are casting that spell upon people. You are no better than someone that's doing baneful magic. We're all witches, if you want to know the truth, because we speak on a regular basis, and we are always casting spells with the words that we speak. Now, this also goes back to the Bible and the word being so powerful, okay? Because that is the spell, the spelling, the spell that you're casting in that moment. And the stronger your belief is in that spell, the faster it works. Okay, this all goes back to, and I started this many years ago, and when we are really reprogramming, because that's what we're doing, especially with Mercury here, we're reprogramming our mind. We are changing with this trine with Pluto. We are changing the way that we show up. We're changing the way we speak. We're allowing for that old program to truly collapse, okay? And Pluto will bring those endings that are needed. And there's going to be aha moments. There's going to be epiphanies that take place to truly be able to shine a light upon you. And I want to share some examples of what I'm talking about. So, I really started diving into this in 2000. So when I was at Blackberry Farm, so it had to have been 13, 14, 15. Okay, I was at Blackberry Farms in Wallen, Tennessee. And I truly started diving into, um, and I can't remember what book I read that led me down this rabbit hole. However, it had to do with what you say you always are is what you become. Okay. So in the exercise started with parking spots. And so I would say, I always have front row parking. I always get front row parking. And then I started noticing that the more I said it, the more I would show up at a store and I would have front row parking. And the more that I affirmed that affirmation, the more it became a constant in my life. So then I started truly practicing this with my children. And, you know, kids, it's easy for them to believe because they've not been conditioned like us as adults have. You know, us as adults, we are very pessimist. We don't believe in things unless we see it to be true. It's kind of hard to believe in something that you can't see yet, right? So, when they were in the seventh grade, I took them to school every single morning, and every morning I would get in the car and I'd say a prayer and I would ask God, the Most High, and the angels to wrap us in divine protection on our route as we traveled to school. And so every single time we would stop at a red light, I would look up and we would be surrounded by white cars. And it never failed. I would tell them, look, boys, and they were just mind blown, right? Mom, how do you do this? How does this always happen? And, you know, that's not me, that's the Most High. However, the more that it was confirmed our reality, the more it became our reality on a daily basis. And it always blew their mind that that was the case. And if there's anything that you take from this new moon lunation update is when you command and affirm things are your reality, you may not believe it at first. And that's the hard part to really overcome, to truly believe, okay, because that's Pisces. That's the North Node, you know, of believing in something that you can't see. And so the more that you do it, the more that you say it, the more that you become that embodiment of what you are manifesting or what you are creating, it will become more of your reality. And when you start seeing it outside of you, as you are reprogramming your mind, it'll be easier to believe. But us as adults, even the generations before me, it is so hard to believe in something that you can't see. I get it. I get it. However, I'm here to remind you that whatever you are commanding is your reality, truly is your reality. Okay, whether it be good, bad, indifferent, that's totally up to you. Okay, because you hold the power to change your reality. That's truly how powerful we are. And that was the whole point of Christ, really, is to show us that we are all made in God's image and we all hold the power to create that reality. We all hold the power to truly connect to God and the Most High and the divine angels, to have that extra support while we are walking through this collective tower with humanity. Okay. So, my challenge for you and my request for you over the next 2 weeks, I really want you to get serious about how you are either helping in your expansion or hindering your growth. How are the words that you're speaking on a daily basis assisting you or hindering you? And make the conscious effort, because Pluto is really there to push us to make the conscious effort to make the changes needed. Now, I want to note that Jupiter is still in a trine with Zeus and Pallas. Zeus and Pallas both are at 24 degrees in the air sign. So they're really there helping to support Jupiter and being able to expand the words that you're speaking, expand the knowledge, expand the wisdom. Zeus is there to help you balance it. Pallas is there to bring in the highest vibration possible, living closer to that Christ consciousness energy. Okay? Now, Saturn has now moved into 0 degrees of Aries, and that is really forcing us to do the work to focus on ourselves because Aries is all about self. And so, where are you helping you? Where are you sacrificing you? Where do you need to focus on your own needs, wants, desires versus putting others first? We're really going to have to be able to have healthy boundaries and no more self-sacrificing. That is not a badge of honor that we are allowed to wear anymore. Okay, you are not a good person if you are always sacrificing yourself. You are actually teaching the divine. You are teaching the angels. You are teaching your own soul that you're not worthy of putting yourself forward. And having Saturn there in Aries is really going to force you to grow up and be like, you know what? I can't always give to other people. I got to make sure I give to myself first before I take care of other people. You know, this reminds me of the Nine of Pentacles card of making sure that your cup and your needs are full first. So whatever is extra, whatever is left over is what you are able to give. It is not a badge of honor to self-sacrifice. It is not a badge of honor to put yourself last. And having Chiron there, that's really showing us, hey, you know, this is a wounded aspect that we truly have to work on. This is something that we need to really examine and look at because if you are not full, how are you going to be able to feel others? This also reminds me of the Ace of Cups, and that's what I'm seeing as I'm in this channel because as that cup overflows, you have more than enough to help everybody. And I just want to remind you guys, especially with this Jupiter aspect, there is more than enough for everybody. This limited belief system, that's what's dying. That's what Pluto is collectively removing within the hive mind. Okay, there is more than enough for everybody. There is more than enough natural resources. That scarce mindset, and this goes back to a conversation that I was having with the Most High today, really, about limited beliefs, about fear, about scarcity, about control. All of that's coming from the devil. None of that is coming from the Most High, because the Most High in the higher dimensions, aka the heavens, there is plenty of everything. There is plenty of love. There is plenty of food. There is plenty of abundance. There is plenty of natural resources. There is plenty of everything. So anything that is lack, anything that is pushing fear, anything that is in that scarcity mindset is coming from the devil. So we have to have extreme discernment, even with our relationships. Is this a reciprocal relationship? Is this a balanced relationship? Am I getting as much as I'm giving? Okay. Is it balanced? If it's balanced and we're growing together, then you know that is a high vibrational relationship. If it's not and you are having to self-sacrifice, that is not a high vibrational relationship. So you need to keep moving. You need to release and let go. Okay. I have really gone into hermit mode over the last month and really put myself in extreme isolation. I've seen my children and like one or two other people. That's it. I haven't really spoke to anybody. And the reason being is because I was so drained. mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. I was just drained. It felt like my life force was being sucked right out of me. And so when you are feeling that way, there is usually a reason, there's usually something or someone that is taking, taking. So you have to take a step back and you have to examine, where are things truly balanced? That's that Zeus aspect in Libra. Where are things truly balanced in my life? Because Libra is all about balance. Libra is all about making sure that things are fair and just, okay? Not self-sacrificing. And Saturn in Aries is really going to teach us that. Now, keep in mind, Jupiter is working out of that square with the nodes, okay? We're still within a 2-degree orb of that square, but really working out of it. We can still feel that. And we will dive into the chart a little bit later. We're going to start seeing more of the Saturn-Jupiter square taking effect. And we're going to have other squares. We're going to have a lot of changes moving in over the next 2 weeks. Now, I do feel, and this was something that truly came in for me as I was really in deep conversation with the Most High, is that we're going to quantum jump. So this is where the timelines that we have been seeing, the split between the two worlds, um, war, death, destruction, lack, is one timeline, okay? And the people that are not able to collectively make that jump, that's where they're going to be stuck at as far as ascension is concerned. That is the road, that is the avenue that they're going to be taking. Those that are able to see and to make that quantum jump and to jump to the highest timeline collectively, okay? This is where heaven on earth, new earth, is going to be taking place, okay? And I will tell you, deception is running rampant right now. Deception is very strong within the spiritual community. Deception is very strong within religion. And deception is very strong also in, the media, those that have been in Hollywood, those that have been within our judicial system, okay, because we do have Zeus there, that has been working with Lilith. Lilith is about to retrograde back over the next couple of weeks. So there's going to be a lot that's brought to light. You will get everything that you have done the work, Saturn. You will get everything that you have done the work for, okay? So, yeah. Woo. Thank you. That was a great channel. That truly was a great channel. I had no idea what I was going to talk about when I sat down, but that was a great channel. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. So, we still have Venus and Mars within that trine. They're working out of that 2-degree orb because Venus is now at 20 degrees of Aries and Mars is now at 18 degrees of Leo. So Venus is going to be working her way into the conjunction with Chiron and Eris. And Saturn is going to be working into making that exact conjunction with Neptune. Now, the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a lot of information thrown at us. It is going to be information overload. Our heads literally could hurt. Just keep in mind, Aries does rule the head, so be mindful of any injuries that could be taking place to the head, okay? As Saturn ingress into Aries, I know I've had a little bit of a headache, a lot of a pressure headache due to just my allergies, really, So, all right, let's move into the next day that I want to talk about. The next day that I want to talk about is going to be 5/28. Now, 5/28 at 9 a.m., we're going to have the moon conjunct Jupiter, which is still going to be in the square with the nodes. Keep in mind, we are in a 3-degree orb, so this is not a tight square, okay? So there's going to be fated things that take place. Okay, this could be things and manifestations, intentions that you have set that come in. And, the moon and Jupiter is going to be speaking to the nodes. Either A, you're in great harmonious balance in order for this positive manifestation to come in, or B, you're going to have to go back and learn some lessons with Saturn. I do feel, and see, Mercury is going to be working into that cazimi with the sun. I do feel that really over the next 2 weeks, we're going to have so much. We're going to have so much information thrown our way. Okay. The next day that I want to talk about is going to be the 29th. Okay. Before I move into the 30th. The next day I want to talk about is going to be the 29th. And so at 13:05 p.m. Eastern time zone, the sun is going to be at 8 degrees 34 minutes, and then Mercury is going to ingress into 8 degrees 0. Okay. And so they are going to be in that cazimi, or, it's not going to be an exact cazimi. Okay. So this is going to start on the 29th at 13:05. And then on the 30th, at midnight, 00. And this is going to be like a complete reset. Okay, cycles have ended. The old way of communicating, the old way of doing things, the old way of talking to yourselves, the old way of talking about people, all of that, that is coming to an end. There's going to be endings that take place because Mercury is there to learn something new. Mercury wants to learn something new. Mercury wants to have fun with the new things that they're learning. So there is a lot of 0 energy. And so I do want to point out with this 0, and Saturn too is at 0 degrees, okay? With the 0 energy, 0 represents the divine protection from the Most High, aka God, okay? And there could be a lot of downloads that come in. There could be a lot of fated conversations. There could be a lot of information that is brought to the light, specifically with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Okay. This is the thing. If towers are showing up, it is redirection. Redirection is God's protection. Rejection is God's protection. Okay, so keep that in mind. This to me is going to be like a hand of God moment. All right. And there is like a finger of God moment here with Lilith, Cupido, Mercury, and the sun. So hold on. Hold on. And the same with Venus, Pallas, and the South Node. So hold on, because there's going to be a lot of insight. There's going to be a lot that's coming in. But this is a divinely orchestrated day. Okay? The divine, the Most High, God is going to have his hands in a lot of what's going on for this day. And I do want to note that Mars and Venus are now working more out of that trine. Okay. And I also want to note that on this day, Uranus is going to ingress into 28 degrees. And this is going to, we're going to start feeling it. We're going to start seeing a little bit more of the uncertainty about our financial structures coming up to the surface, and really working out of that trine with the South Node and the sextile with the North Node, because we are within a 4-degree orb. So we could hear a lot about what's going to be taking place there, because as Uranus gets to that 29-degree point, there's going to be a whole lot revealed. Okay, and this is going to be connected to all the groundwork that Jupiter has been laying in Gemini. It's going to be time to talk about it. It's going to be time to examine it. Okay, is this truly the highest vibration for humanity, or do we need to change directions? Now, keep in mind, Uranus is a wild card. Okay, Trump being Sun conjunct Uranus, um, he is a wild card. It's really hard to predict some of the things that come from him because of that wild card Uranus energy. However, the highest vibration of that Uranus is going to be for humanity. The lowest vibration of that Uranus energy is going to be the science experiments gone wrong. Okay. This is going to be a very powerful day. I feel like we're going to hear a lot about money, our new financial structures. I want to pull a card for the devil. And then the Hierophant. Yeah. Yeah. What did I tell you? I feel like God's going to have his hand on this day. And if the devil is showing up, that's why. Yep. And this could be truly the truth coming out about what's been hidden within religion and how religion has been used to manipulate humanity. I am holding space for this, okay, specifically with the Roman Catholic Church, because this is the priest, this is the Pope, okay? There could be something that comes out about some of the things that they have done. That's the 30th. On 531 at 2194, Venus is going to ingress into 25 degrees of Aries and start that conjunction with Eris and Chiron. Okay. And you're going to see it here. Now, that exact conjunction is going to take place on June 1st at 10:43 a.m. Eastern time zone. Now, again, check your time zone to see where it's going to be, what time it's going to be taking place, depending on where you're at. Now, again, this I feel could bring we could see some things brought up specifically with the tariffs, okay? Because this has been truly a tariff war that we have been witnessing. So there could be some things brought to light in regards to that. And I do want to note that Jupiter is now at 28 degrees. The nodes have now moved to 23 degrees. And so we're out of that 5 degree, we're within a 5 degree orb of those squares. So we're going to start feeling that loosen up just a little bit. And we're going to start the day with the moon conjunct Mars at 6:40 a.m. at 21 degrees, 17 minutes. And this is going to be taking place opposing Alice, and it's not going to be an exact opposition, okay? But as the moon crosses over Mars, that opposition is going to become a little bit more exact. And there is going to be a trine to Venus, Chiron, and Eris. Now, we don't have anything, well, we have the vertex in Sag. So we do have a grand fire trine here as that exact conjunction takes place, okay? I do feel with this, we could hear more about what's going on with the tariffs. We could hear a whole lot more about what's going on with what's been going on behind the scenes. Now, I have been seeing rumors from people in Canada that we may have a 51st state after all. There's some changes that are taking place behind the scenes that are not really being truly talked about. So we could see that as well. Now, the next day that I want to talk about, and I don't have a slide for it, is going to be on 6/2, Venus is going to move out of that conjunction with Chiron and Eris. Now, as Venus crosses over Chiron, there could be some wounds that's brought up to the surface that you might need to examine. And this is going to go back to Gemini, the communication. Okay, because right now that's where the soul lesson truly lies. Are you speaking good to yourself? Are you communicating good to yourself? Are you speaking loving to yourself? Is there wounds that you really need to examine and focus? So as Venus crosses over, this is going to happen from 6/1 to 6/2. And then on 6/3, we're going to have the first quarter square at 17 degrees of Virgo. And the moon is going to conjunct the south node shortly after. On 6/3, this is going to be a great time to go back and plant some seeds. This is going to be on Tuesday. This is Mars Day. So on Mars Day, it will be a great time to plant more seeds for what it is that you were trying to create. Write yourself some affirmations of what it is that you're working on when it comes to reprogramming your mind, specifically with Mercury here. And I do want to note on 6/5, Mercury is going to be, I'm sorry, the sun is going to be in a trine with the moon. Mercury is going to be in a trine with Pallas. So this is going to be a great day to truly communicate how you're feeling, to really express yourself in a loving way. Also, it's going to be in a grand trine with Zeus at 24 degrees. So Zeus is really in Libra, truly helping to bring that balanced communication into place. On 6/5, Venus is going to be at 29 degrees at 0027. So this is going to be at 12:27 a.m. And Jupiter is going to move at 29 degrees at 6:54 a.m. Now at 10:13 a.m., Mercury is going to be in an exact square with the nodes. So there's going to be fated conversations that's going to be taking place. This could happen with the media of what's truly factual, what is not factual, what is AI, what is not AI, what is truly here to help humanity, what is hurting humanity, what is delulu, and what is true. Okay, there's going to be fated conversations is going to be taking place. Now on 6/6, Venus is going to ingress into 0 degrees of Taurus. Okay, so Venus is going to be exalted here. She's going to be extremely happy here because Venus rules Taurus. So we're really going to be feeling things ease up as far as that is concerned. We could start seeing some relief as far as money, the tariffs, okay? And then on 6/8, Mercury is going to conjunct Jupiter at 29 degrees 45 minutes at 16:01 p.m. And this is going to be taking place at 29 degrees. So, and we're still in that trine with Zeus, but within a 5-degree orb, 4-degree orb of that trine with Pallas. So Mercury is going to be, hey, Jupiter, we've gone behind. We have seen the groundwork that you have been laying, seeing the things that you have been trying to expand. And now this is everything that I know I need, that I need to relay to you in order for us to move forward. Now, the sun is going to be at that infamous 18-degree point. I do feel that there could be, for lack of better word, shot fired. And this could be breaking news. This could be the light exposing a lot of the darkness that has been going on behind the scenes, specifically as Uranus is making its way out of that conjunction with, I've lost it. Hold on. Algol. Okay. And this could be connected to all the science experiments gone wrong. This could be connected to crimes against humanity. So there's going to be some things that are truly brought to light as far as that is concerned. Now, I do want to note that at this point, Mars is going to be in a trine with Chiron and Eris. And so they are working and speaking in great harmonious balance. And this is, again, why I'm saying I do feel that there could be some kind of shots fired, not maybe literal shots, but, you know, the tongue can be a weapon. As I was talking about at the beginning of this lunation cycle, the tongue literally can be a weapon, and it's one of the most dangerous weapons. You can make or break people, literally. Okay. Now, Mars is going to trine Chiron and Eris, but then it's going to be squaring Saturn. No, no, that's wrong. My notes are wrong. Mercury and Jupiter are going to be squaring Saturn. Okay. I didn't write it all down. So as you can see, we've got Saturn getting ready to move to that 1-degree spot, the 1 degree of Aries, and is going to be exactly conjunct Neptune. And Jupiter and Mercury is going to be ingressing into Cancer together, okay? Well, not exactly together, but shortly after each other. How about that? Mercury is going to go first, so we're still working into that square, because once they ingress into 0 degrees of Cancer, that's when that square is going to be exact. So after Mercury conjuncts Jupiter at 18:59 p.m., it will ingress into 0 degrees of Cancer and will be in that exact square with Saturn. So again, this is why I'm saying I do feel that shots could be fired this day. The moon's going to be in Scorpio, about to oppose Uranus. So, and is in an exact trine with White Moon Selena, and is in a trine with the North Node. And again, I'm going to say this because I've said it numerous times, but I feel like I need to reiterate, okay? Those that are doing right by humanity, those that are meant to lead the way for New Earth, for the rapture, whatever it is that you believe, okay? We're going to start seeing that come to light a little bit more. Okay, we're going to start seeing that be supported a little bit more. And there is a finger of God from Mars to Zeus going to the North Node. This is going to be a fated day. Something fated's definitely going to happen. And this will either have to do with our justice system. Someone could be exposed. Someone could be arrested. Someone, high figure, okay? Mars at 25 degrees. Give me one card for June 8th, please. Give me one card. Queen of Wands. Could be a feminine. I do feel something, there could be somebody that goes to jail. Fated day, very fated, because part fortune is going to be conjunct the North Node. So all the energy is pointing to the North Node to be able to bring that to light. All right. Okay, we got a couple more days to talk about. The next day that I want to talk about is going to be June 9th. Okay. On June 9th, the moon is going to be in Sag, and Jupiter is going to ingress into 0 degrees of Cancer. Okay. And I also want to note that Saturn is now going to be at 1 degrees of Aries. So we're not quite exact with that square. However, Neptune is now at 2 degrees. Okay. We're still going to be feeling this square energy. Now, Venus is going to be squaring Pluto exactly at 12:59 p.m. Eastern time zone. So you'll see where I pulled the chart at 5:03, 17:03, you're going to see that Venus is now out of that exact square. They're going to square at 3 degrees, 31 minutes. So we're going to have a lot of intense energy. I do want to note that on this day, we will have again Mercury squaring Saturn. On a positive note, okay, Chiron is now going to be at 26 degrees. On a positive note, the sun's going to be at 19 degrees. So Juno is at 18 degrees, but we don't have those infamous 22, 18. Oh, part fortune is at 18 degrees. So I don't feel like it's going to be as intense if it was like Mars, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Sun at those infamous degrees. But we are still going to be having Mercury square Saturn, Jupiter square Saturn. Mercury is going to be moving into that square with Neptune. We could start hearing a lot about the things that have been done behind closed doors as far as science experiments are concerned with the wounded warrior. What has our military industrial complex truly been used for? We could even hear more about, the JFK files. We could hear more about, especially as we build up to the Sag full moon. Okay. We're going to hear more about the corruption and what the military industrial complex has been used for and how it has been the one doing the science experiments. It has been the one deceiving people behind the scenes. They're still doing science experiments on us without our consent. So, yeah. It's going to be brought to light. It has to. And with these squares, we're going to have a lot that's truly brought to light with it. So, anyway. Let's do a reading. Let's do a reading and see what you all need to be focused on during this new moon lunation cycle. Just remember, You are the magician that creates your own reality with the thoughts and the words that you speak into existence. It's your choice. What you think about, you bring about. Give me one more, please. Not wanting to work. Unleash your kindest self. Solar plexus activations are going to be taking place. Trust all will be well. Let your fears dissolve and honor your feelings. So we're going to have some solar plexus activations, and we're going to have some crown chakra activations that's going to be taking place. There is a lot of earth energy. Let your fears dissolve as Mercury moves into Cancer. There could be some fears that are brought up to the surface. Okay, we got to let those go. We got to honor what we're feeling. We got to release control, root chakra, trust, surrender. Okay, what messages need to come through for this Gemini New Moon? Okay, there's a lot that's ending. And this is connected to the South Node. Okay, this is going to be fears, old ways of doing things. Pluto is blowing that shit up. It's no longer serving us. We got to let it go. Okay. Got the Hermit, root chakra, or sorry, South Node, Ten of Swords. The things from the past is coming to an end in order for you to step into what you want. Okay. You cannot have the past and the future at the same time. You cannot carry your old ways of thinking, of being, of speaking, and create everything that you want. Okay, you've got to let that shit go. You got to let it come to an end. Let those fears dissolve. Let those fears go. So you can have what it is that you want. Yes. Okay. You got to bring healing to that. Can't hold on to the past and have a positive future. Okay. And this includes people. Okay. There could be some people that you need to let go of. Stop holding on to people that are not feeding your future if they are tearing you down. Okay. Give me three more, please. Oh, yeah. Strength card. Queen of Wands. There's a lot of emphasis on Leo. Hierophant. Okay. There could be someone within the church. Some things are brought to light there because the Hierophant keeps coming out. This is Taurus energy, okay? Oh, we could also really change how we're showing up for ourselves as far as our passions are concerned. Are we truly doing the work to get to the next level? Are we tapping into our excitement? Are we tapping into our passion? Are we tapping into those desires that light fire in us? Okay. In order for us to more fire. Okay. Leo showed up twice along with the Queen of Wands. So this is Mars. This is how we take action. Are you doing the things that light you up? That giving you that spark, that zest, that desire to move forward? Are you doing that? And maybe you're here to teach people of what it took to overcome things or overcome or change directions in shedding the old and becoming the new. Okay. Because the Hierophant is all about being a leader, a spiritual leader. And it could be bringing women together as well, strong, spiritual women. And you got to let go of the people of the past in order for the people of the future to show up. I do feel that there is a teaching aspect because the Page of Wands is here, the Hierophant is here, okay? And that's not going to resonate with everybody, but for those of you that it does resonate with, there could be new learning. And it may not even be teaching, it could be learning something new, being a student, finding a spiritual mentor to help you walk through the process. All right. All right. I love you guys. I hope these messages find you well. Happy Gemini New Moon. And I will be doing my healing circle at 7 p.m. Eastern time zone today. I'd love to have you. The link to join is going to be on my website, 12thhousequeenbee.com, under the events tab. Love y'all. See you soon. Bye.